What's up? What's up? What's up? We're back with Game Picks. How are you doing, Jamal? It's been
I'm
a
good,
little while.
good. Just fresh off vacation. Need a break from everything that was going on in the ELF, but I'm good. I'm back now, ready to go.
All right, let's talk about a situation that might be stressing you out in the ELF. You don't know Jamal is a Mercs fan, and the Mercs have been releasing everybody. Just a
Yeah,
second ago, from where we're recording, they announced they're releasing Milan Spieler as well. Everybody's going out. People coming in. We saw they signed Devin Burrell from the Wrocław. He had just been released. Nash as well from the Fire. So what's going on? Let's address the situation.
yeah. There's obviously something going on, behind doors where it's a complete fire sale right now over in Helvetic. Obviously, it all started with Coach Horford. You get
Mhm.
guys like DeMarco Artis saying he was released, but technically wasn't released because the visa situations wasn't uh, correct for the Americans. Obviously, if that's the case, you can assume, Isaiah Weed's probably gone, or Keelan Cole, Jock went on IR. They bring in some other guys that already got visas, so they at least have to worry about those. But I mean, it's just a shame. It's a shame that you know the team in Helvetic or the team in Switzerland is operating that the way they're operating. It's a shame that they're 3 seasons in and we're still dealing with these kinds of issues, whether it's visa 1 year or whether it's guys getting, not getting, or not receiving payment years prior. So it's definitely hard because Helvetic can be a competitive team. I know
Mhm.
Matt Bregton did a good job of laying out like a dream scenario, but even if they got like half or some of the homegrowns that they currently don't have right now and still apply those ELF rules to roster building
Yeah.
and just do everything right in the front office and be competent in that in those circumstances, they could be a competitive team. I'll argue that with anyone that that some of the best Switzerland players on Helvetic, plus with the ELF import rules, they could be competitive in this league. And unfortunately, they're dealing with something Cologne's dealing with. Right, the Cologne's biggest threat to the league was the Rhine Fire in regards to talent.
Yeah.
With Helvetic, it's the Calanda Broncos. A lot of the best players in Switzerland play for Calanda, some for
Yeah.
Basel, some for Bern, but a lot of those guys aren't on the team. So, with those circumstances, you got to find other ways. And the ELF even gave Helvetic some Italian territory. I don't think they capitalized on that. So, a lot
That's
of
why I'm
things.
saying maybe it's not too late
Yeah,
to capitalize on that because everybody knows from you've been following the page. I was at the Italian Bowl last week, all through the weekend as well, and there's some players in the IFL who are great players who would love to play ELF ball that are not being capitalized on right now.
yeah,
I think I think the Mercs need to get a look, start looking south for some solutions because in house there is no, everybody wants to play for Calanda, and there's reasons behind that
yeah.
that's been documented. But start looking south and start bringing up some Italians, man. I'm telling you, it could get you. I'm not saying competitive as maybe some people would want you to be, but surely a lot more competitive than you are right now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's definitely gonna be some recruiting and research done. If you think about someone like Milan Spiller, who wasn't even playing in the first division in Switzerland, first year in Europe, 1,000 yard receiver, rookie of the year. So like, there's guys out there. You just gotta go find them. I don't
yeah.
think I know what everyone's thinking and like Helvetic should or will they drop. I hope they don't. To be honest, I just want to see one season them put together the best Swiss team possible.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of challenges to overcome that, but that's why they get paid the Swiss francs for.
Course, yeah, yeah, yeah. But do you think there needs to be a change in Switzerland as far as organization goes? Like, do you want maybe the Calanda Broncos to join the ELF instead of the Mercs, or maybe just a switch of organization in general, like a new owner group or something?
Well, anyone who knows me, watches First Down, or watches Athletes Forum knows that I'm Kalanda Broncos through and through. I think the only way you're going to get Kalanda players is if Kalanda joins.
Right.
But with that being said, Kalanda's not the easiest place to get to for guys like from Geneva or Bern or Basel or stuff like that. It's real close to the Italian side. So you're going to see, guys from maybe Zurich from Milan and combine us with Kalanda players. I don't know. But there's no way you could tell me that if you have the currently constructed Kalanda Broncos, who, mind you, is dominating the Swiss League and made it to 2 championship games in the CEFL with the homegrown quarterback. Shout out to Robin. There's no way you can tell me with ELF rules and roster building that this team, Kalana Broncos, wouldn't be. I mean, I'm not. I'm not. I hate to do Swiss on Swiss crime, but they wouldn't be better than the current Helvetic mercenaries are right now. There's no way you can tell me
Yeah,
that.
you wouldn't.
I've seen it. Like right now, Kalana has better homegrowns and most of the homegrown talent on their team now. They even got a
Yeah,
better offensive line that's built with most of the homegrown. So I could go on and on. If Kalana did join, that would be interesting. But I think Helvetic to be the ELF representation of Switzerland, I just want to see them 1 year just build a competitive roster, align front office to coach, whether it's going to be a 1 year or 2 year process. Because obviously you're seeing what it can be done in Prague,
yeah,
and have a plan. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say.
100%. And it's gonna be interesting to keep an eye out for them and see if and how they finish up the season. But let's move on to the week 8 games because we talked about Switzerland enough. Let's start off with Rhine Fire against the Raiders Tyrol. So for this one, guys, you're seeing the graphic on screen. Alex Malcho must have been smoking some of the weed that's just been released from the Mercs because he picked the Raiders. Everybody else
Yeah,
went with Fire. The Fire just recently beat Vienna, and they had an amazing win against Berlin. Of course, everybody expected them to win against Berlin, but they beat on them pretty hard. So, what's up with that? How do you see this game? Why do you think Alex could have possibly went with the Raiders?
yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders find a way to pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
I, I just, I don't know. I think the Fire right now are like they're a team that's you know the fire's getting it's heating up. The Fire are building on momentum despite the teams that they're playing.
Yep.
Even last week, I don't think we really saw the true Ryan Fire. If you watch the game, if you look at this, if you look at the stat line, they're saving it because Ryan, in order to make the playoffs, they're going to have to take care of the Raiders and they have to take care of Nordic. It's the only path to the playoffs, in my opinion. So we'll see how it pans out. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially how N'Kosi Perry played last week, and we'll dive into that a little bit later. Raiders play good defense. I love their DBs and Maddox and Walls and what their impact in that secondary. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
For sure. I think the only way that Rhine Fire doesn't win this one is if they show that they're hurt. Because Ryan Fire right now is hurt. They
Yeah,
just had to sign a new import wide receiver. Who knows how that's gonna go? It's never. It's always like super good or super bad when you
hmm
sign an import like halfway through the week. And then on defense as well, they signed a new import DB. And I've had some rumors within the Fire. There's a bunch of players that are limping right now. So I think Ryan Fire has to win, and they're in a must-win mode right now because of how they started the season. So
yeah,
that's why I'm going with the Fire. But I agree, it's gonna be a lot more of an interesting game that people probably would expect. Like people would expect to Fire to win by 20. They're not gonna win by
no.
20. It's gonna be a lot closer of a game. But let's move on to the next one because I can't wait to talk about these guys. We go Prague against Vienna. And you and Matt went for Prague. I thought it was only going to be Matt, but then I read your picks and you sent in Prague too. So
Yeah.
why'd you go Prague?
Yeah, I owe Prague an apology. I owe Prague an apology. When they first came into the league, I was a big Prague supporter. I remember when they were in the orange and blue Prague Lions and
Yep.
everything that went on in that organization and how they've done a complete 360. And kudos to the front office and ownership and all that. I owe Prague an apology. I believed in them late this year. Even games that I believed in them, I didn't believe in them enough. Obviously, we
Yeah,
talked about the most recent. They continue to prove me wrong. But I think this is one of the most dangerous teams. Um, as the season keeps going, this is a team that's getting better week in, week out. This is a different Prague team than what they were week one that lost to the Vikings 28-6. They didn't play necessarily well in that game. They didn't have Jalen Embry in that game. Willie P was a non-factor. Javarian Smith was 5 for like 30 something and only 120 some yards. Adam Juzelka didn't have 100 yards rushing. This is a different Prague team. This is a Prague team that's feeling themselves, that's competitive, that is they're not going to be scared of Vienna. They're not going to be scared
Yeah,
of Vienna.
I agree.
And I think maybe I'm a week too late to the party. But I think Prague's going to be able to pull this off.
Right. First of all, I need to start off instead of apologizing, saying thank you to the Prague Lions because the last 2 weeks against Hamburg and Frankfurt, I had them in my parlays and stuff, and
Yeah.
man, you've been amazing. So thank you so much, Prague Lions. Um, but yeah, I agree with all that. I also had a post game interview. It's up on the First Time Magazine Instagram with Arthur Kingdom,
Yep.
who of course plays on defense for the Prague Lions. He was saying that those first games against Hamburg and Vienna, we think we should have won. And if we were the team that we are right now, we could have won those games easily. So
Yeah.
Hamburg, they already proved it, and they beat them in the second. They split the series. But Hamburg is in a bad way right now.
Yeah.
They're doing bad.
It's a bad
But
loss.
Vienna on the other side, I agree they can win, and it will be amazing. Probably Matt will pull out the hair from his head if Prague wins during the
Matt.
watch along this
Yeah.
weekend. But I have a name for you that I think switches my. I've been going for Prague the last 2 weeks, but I think this name makes the challenge too big, and it's a big name, and it's a big guy, and it's Florian Beerbaumer.
Mm.
This guy, I've talked in the preseason with Ben Holmes. It's documented. There's video up on the YouTube as well. He said if Florian is 100% feeling healthy, he's an NFL tight end in the past 2 weeks, it
Yeah.
looks from the performances that he's putting up that he's healthy, he's
Yeah.
scary. And when you have a guy like Florian to account for, apart from all of the other weapons that are already Noah Torre, Reese Horn, all of them carry the running back
Running
is
back.
back this week from IR as well. I think the defense is taking like there is a few missing pieces. Lalo, it's on IR, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's something that we need to account for. But this Vienna offense is not gonna allow the Prague Lions to be a top five defense like they have been for the past 4 weeks. And if the Prague Lions are able to do it, fair enough. I just don't think it's possible against an offense like Vienna.
Yeah, and I think Fletcher's going to be the X factor in this game because you got guys like Jalen Embry, you got guys that Ken Hite Jr. who could cover on the outside, whether it's Noah Torre or whether it's Reese Horn, and who knows if Yannick Mayer is going to be back. But Fletcher and Arthur Kingdom are the key in this game because whether they double Beer Bomber, whether they do one-on-one, they got to be able to hold their own. I think Arthur Kingdom alone, could cover Beer Bomber. He has the size, he has the athletic ability, yes, and he can match up with
Okay,
him. He can match up with
okay,
him. But then if you take Arthur Kingdom, you know, out in terms of like with him covering Beer Bomber, then the
right.
Vikings are just going to run the ball. And he's been one of their premier linebackers. He's the leader of that defense. He's probably going to be defensive rookie of the year. So that's where Fletcher has to come into play and do his job too. Maybe a little undersized, but leading the league in picks right now. So if he could bait Ben Holmes maybe a couple times, or if he's on the same page with the corners, I think Prague can make this interesting. I think this is a legit opportunity for Prague, and making a name for themselves. And if Prague
Mm.
wins this game, the
It's
internet
possible.
the internet's gonna break. The
Yeah.
internet's gonna break.
Prague wins this game. We did a prediction. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember when we did the game picks for Hamburg Prague. I said we did a prediction and Hamburg for Prague to finish at 6-6. They need to beat this Hamburg team,
Yeah,
and they did. And they went on. They went on to beat Galaxy as well. If they beat Prague or if they beat Vienna, they are a playoff team. And you don't want a team that's caught fire like that to get in the playoff because then it's going to be a problem for everybody. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. But without further ado, let's move on to can we call it the game of the week? This is going to be an amazing matchup. The Ravens of Munich going against the Madrid Bravos. What you got for me on this one?
well, let me get this out here. If I wasn't a Helvetic fan, I would be a Munich Raiders fan. I
Ooh,
I mess with the flock, and this is the game of the week. This is the game of the South. This is the game that the South is going to be. I don't want to say determined because the Raiders are going to play a factor, but this is definitely going to shake up things one way or another. I think first of all, expect a lot of points in this game. Expect a lot of
Mhm.
points in this game. You got the number one passing offense going up against a defense that hasn't done a real good job at defending the pass.
True.
But they play well, and it's a physical defense. Obviously Reese and that to Aaron Cruikshank's very well documented, but you can't forget about Juan Flores Calderon either, and Sexton Dragon coming into play, right? And then
Yeah.
they just
And
signed a running back.
Torreira as well.
Yep.
So many
Uh,
weapons.
uh, Molina is coming to play. Owusu is coming to play, and then on the Munich side, a team that is very balanced, could run the ball and pass the ball. I expect a big game from Justin Rodney this week. To be honest, like
Oh, okay.
the teams that Madrid have struggled with, when you talk about um, when you talk about like the Raiders and when you talk about the Galaxy, Raiders did a good job at running the ball, being physical.
Yeah, they've
Galaxy
been
did
killed with the rushing game.
yeah, Galaxy did a good job at attacking the flats, and then McKay and Sandro doing a good job, with their legs. And they're going up against a Mills team that can do both. Rodney's probably one of the most athletic running backs in the league. Russell
Yeah.
Tabor, hey,
Hey,
Tabor
favorite
time,
time.
right?
Yes,
Tabor
sir.
time. Hey, this is gonna be an amazing game. I think Andrew Weidinger versus Kendra Ellison, they're 1-1. Dating back to 2022 Barcelona versus when he was in Contrell was in Hamburg. Um, and then you got some of the best coordinators. You got Kyle Callahan, who is a mastermind, Andrew Weidinger, who's a mastermind. Kentrell's finding a way to defend both of these in practice, and is going to have to do it in the game too. So
Yep.
um, Munich's defense is definitely going to have to find a way to guard Krushank. I don't think I don't. I mean, no disrespect to Nitzlander, I like him a lot. I don't think playing Aaron Krushank man to man on Nitzlander is probably the best game plan. I think you mix it up, but you got to find a way. You got to find a way to slow him down. You're not going to stop him, but you got to find a way to slow him down. And if you slow him down, I think I think I think they can do a good enough job with the other guys to kind of maintain, what this Madrid offense has been. Because right now, the Madrid offense is the best show in Europe, right? So that's why this is going to be a high scoring game. I'm expecting a lot of touchdowns. I'm expecting a lot of action. If Russell Taylor plays smart and if it's close, I'm rocking with Munich. I'm rocking with Tabor time. Tabor time.
Right. What do you think is going to be the score line on this one? I want to get a score prediction because my opinion is, and we talked about it already on the Insiders group chat, Madrid is a team that is planning to outscore everybody they go up
Yep.
against. And they can do it because they have the weapons to do it. Do you think the Ravens have what it takes to not be outscored, meaning limiting the Bravos, or actually putting up more points than the Bravos?
I think the Munich team is a team that could go score for score with Madrid. The only difference is that if you're asking me to pick a team that's going to get a defensive stop, I trust Munich more than Madrid.
That's fair. I understand, and I agree with that. I'm going with the Ravens as well. Apparently, the fourth down fiasco boys don't agree with that. I don't know if they broke this down in their episode. Make sure to check out the fourth down fiasco boys on YouTube as well, and on Instagram and all the platforms. But yeah, I need your player to watch for this game or for this week in general. It doesn't have to be in the Ravens Bravos game. Who's your player to watch?
Sorry about that. I think a big time game could come from Justin Rodney this week. I think he's a mismatch for the linebackers if they try to cover him. I think he could run between the tackles. I think Munich has to lean into Justin Rodney this week, and they will find success.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Well, my player to watch this week is Florian Bierbaummer. I already talked about him. I think I think the Raiders or the Prague doesn't have what it takes to stop him. I know they have Arthur Keenum. I know they have Frecha. They have amazing players, but I think Florian puts up about 6 7 catches around the 80 yards
Yeah.
and probably 2 touchdowns. And that's going to be a determining factor in this game, in my opinion. What's your stat line? What stat line do you predict for Rodney? By the way, just of curiosity for me.
Yeah. I think if Rodney gets at least 18 touches or 18 carries,
Hmm.
I'm gonna say. See, Munich can run the ball, but the only thing that takes away from Munich is Russell, because sometimes he runs the ball as well too, and that can probably change the play calling. But I'm gonna say 18 for 136 and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. That would be interesting to see. And okay, let's last question. As always, we got to close up. Who is your ELF fantasy player that you must start? Who's the guy that you have to have in your fantasy this week?
Yeah, I mean, this is just simple math in my opinion. But I'm going with Brandon Bolio, right? A week off from the Nordic game, right? Um, and they're going up against probably the one of the worst secondaries or pass defenses in the league. I think Jadrian is ready to get back at his old team Hamburg. I think we're going to see a lot of catches from Brandon, especially since Brandon started off slow their last game. I expect Bolio to have a game this week.
Nice. So Brandon Bolio is just more must start. Um, yeah, I like Bolio too. I'm a believer, so I'll go with Bolio as well.
You're
Let's ride with
right
Brandon
with
and
Bolio.
Nordic Storm. And the Nordic Storm got a bye week last week. Like got a
Yeah,
free bye week. So that'll be interesting to see what they can do with this after this free bye week.
absolutely. I'll give you one more name too. I think that last game, that last run that he had against his old team Munich and Tommy Awewu, I think that might have sparked a little something. I think Tommy could be a pick this week too, as they're looking to bounce back. I believe they're playing the Anthroners, and that's a team that just got rid of their American D linemen to go for American DBs. The Surge are going to get back to the basics and run the ball.
Yeah. I'll be scared if I was the Enthroners, knowing that Tommy Wayewo was coming to my house angry from a loss and
Yeah,
just to me, whenever he gets going, it's dangerous against a team that just got rid of the better side of their D line which is a smart play. Don't get me wrong. I agree with the Enthroners to make this adjustment, but still, yeah, to me it was gonna be scary. So yeah, we probably already talked about more than half of our fantasy lineups right now. So let's wrap this up. Thank you so much, Jamal, for coming in. Thank you, everybody, for staying in and watching the show. And as always, drop a like, subscribe to First
yeah.
Time Magazine and At Least Forum. Share this with your grandma, your cousin, or everybody in your family, your friends, all of that. Locker room, join the join the conversation in the comments, as always, as Jamal says. And yeah, peace out. Enjoy week 8.